Minasan irashai, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, it's the day after Thanksgiving, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about some stuff that's been on my mind for a while, specifically thankfulness and my thankfulness to the Balisong community as a whole. You know, I have a very interesting sort of spot because not only am I thankful for the YouTube stuff, because obviously that's insane. Like, the fact that I have an audience at all is incredible. But I'm also thankful in general to the Balisong community itself, because the Balisong community itself has done a lot for me. You know, throughout my tenure flipping Balisongs, I've had a lot of different experiences and gotten a lot of different knives, and I have a very crazy collection nowadays that wouldn't have been possible without the support that I've gotten from the community both before and after YouTube. So I thought I'd share a little bit about that today, maybe a little bit about my personal story, you know, in the Balisong hobby. Right now I'm flipping my wonderful, beautiful Talisong that I love oh so very much and that I've made multiple videos about. But you can see in front of me here, I have the yellow box. And this is actually getting a replacement soon because this box, well, it's way too small to carry my collection properly. So I have decided that I will be updating it. So I'm going to be getting a new box soon. I already designed the foam inside of it and stuff. I use I think it's mycasebuilder.com. That's what I use to make these. Super easy. You just like go on the website. It's a little expensive because it's custom cut foam, but at the same time, I think it's kind of worth it. So it's pretty cool, but I'm getting a much larger Pelican case that'll be coming soon. But for now, I thought, why not talk a little bit about this one and what's in it and how it kind of represents my growth in the Balisong hobby in general. So yeah, let's get into that. So, welcome to Will's little table corner. Alrighty. So inside the case, you can see on the outside, I've customized it with lovely stickers from Flytanium and Jerry Home and so many. Inside the case is an interesting story. So this is a Pelican 1120 for anyone asking. This is a Pelican 1120 case. The Pelican 1120 is a really nice small case. When I was initially looking for a case to hold my knives, the Pelican 1120 is what I settled on because I wanted like a nice small Pelican case that was kind of like cute and small and not too big. And there was a reason behind that, and I have surpassed that reason very badly. But we'll get to that in the story. For now, the first thing to look at is actually secretly behind here. I have lots of Band-Aids, as you can see. Lots of Band-Aids. This is an important thing, I think, in any Balisong kit, and it's also a very important thing at conventions like Blade Show, because what will happen a lot of times is somebody at Blade Show will get a cut, and they won't personally have any bandages on them, so the people around them often do, and so I'm able to keep some bandages underneath the lid here, and that's how I'm able to help some people at Blade Show if they get a cut. Which, by the way, cuts do happen. This is a video I want to make a whole topic on, which is how to drop your Balisong properly. But, as you can see, I got a cut yesterday from the Talisong, and it's already basically healed. If you have Balisongs, you know, that aren't trainers, I do have many trainers, and I do enjoy trainers, but for usability purposes, I use my Balisongs all the time to open boxes, open letters, so I do need the blade, and the blade's just very useful. But ironically, keeping it relatively sharp is actually good because the cuts that you get from it are much cleaner and therefore will heal much better than a dull kind of serrated blade. So yeah, in general, for my knives that are more useful, I keep them relatively sharp. But moving on from there, I wanted to get into this. So this case design is an original design that I created for this case, and I based it around basically trying to fit any kind of Balisong in here. So I believe these are 0.8 inches deep. They are 7 inches across, or maybe no, it's 6.5 inches across, 0.8 inches deep, and 1/2 inch wide. So it's literally just a rectangle, 1/2 inch wide, 6.5 inches across, and 0.8 inches deep. And almost every Balisong I own fits into that relatively well. Like, it just kind of plops right in there. The only one that doesn't fit this well would be my stuff from Flytanium. So specifically, the Talisong Z is a little bit big in this, and the Flytanium Lucha is also a bit big in this. But both of them can still fit. It's just a bit more of a squeeze. So in general, I found those specifications, 0.8 inches deep, 6.5 inches across, and 1/2 inch wide, is a pretty good universal fit all for most Balisongs. And so I added 6 of those cutouts into this box. And then I added a cutout that I custom shaped for what was actually my first like real Torx driver. The Benchmade little Torx system setup, which is actually a pretty cool little system. The way it works is that it's got this extension rod that you pop into it like that, and then you take your Torx driver of choice. So for instance, if we take like a T, I think it's a T8 probably, or a T10, you pop that into there, right? And now you've got a pretty good little Torx driver. And what's cool about it is it actually, oh fuck, oh my god, I just destroyed the camera. I'm sorry guys, I don't know where the wide angle lens went. Oh, I got it. So this is for people asking, this camera is a, see, I've got a little wide angle lens and I can go bloop, and now everything's wider. This is a DJI Pocket 2, and I just smacked it with my Balisong, so sorry about that, DJI Pocket 2, I love you. Anyways, I've got this guy right here, custom, you know, or not, well, not custom, but it's a pretty nice little driver setup because you can actually get a surprising amount of torque out of it for adjusting your pivots because of the leverage provided by this. So it's actually a pretty good like emergency driver, and I used it a lot back in the day. So yeah, that was my first purchase of, you know, a driver setup, and I thought it was really good because it holds all of my bits, and it has become my like go-to travel driver. So I always have this thing around if I'm traveling, and it fits perfectly right into this little cutout that I essentially just measured it and figured out how to, you know, I designed the little cutout, and then whoop, slips right in. It's extremely nice. So then I have my oil right here. I'm using Super Lube now, but this little bottle cutout thing fits KPL and Super Lube. Personally, I've found Super Lube to be the best, but you know, it's up to whoever, you know, what kind of lube you prefer. So lube is pretty universal. But I had 6 cutouts, and there's a reason for this. The reason that I went with 6 cutouts was because at the time, I was starting to get into collecting Balisongs. I believe this is around 2014, 2015 that I made this case, maybe 2014. And I had begun to start collecting Balisongs. And I think I only had 2 at the time. But in my head, I was like, I'm going to have 6 spots for Balisongs because if I need more than 6 spots, something is wrong. So I need to limit myself to only be able to have 6 spots. And look at it where I am now. I'm ordering a much larger Pelican case to fit all of my Balisongs in, so that didn't work out too great. Turns out, if you take your hobby and you turn it into a job, it becomes an excuse to buy a lot more shit. So don't do that, or do that, and it's a good plan. But in general, it'll make your husband angry, so don't do that. Anyways, so let's go over the story here, because obviously I've got my Talisong out today, but I think I decided to put a bit of a story into the knives that I actually have in the box right now. First up, of course, is my Benchmade 32. This thing, sorry, Benchmade 51, not 32. The Benchmade 51 was literally the first Balisong that I bought from a reputable company. So this is the bones of that original 51. The liners in this and the pocket clip are from the original 51, but basically everything else is completely changed. So over a period of time, and I think one of my last videos I made was a spotlight on this specific knife, the Benchmade 51 really was my introduction to Balisongs in terms of actually buying one. Before that, I had bought a couple clones, but at the time, clones weren't even that good, and there weren't that many, so the Benchmade 51, the Benchmade 51 was legitimately one of the first Balisongs I ever, like, purchased, and you can see Penny run by like a little rocket that she is. I think she's got the zoomies right now. So yeah, I really do love this thing, and I really do enjoy this thing for everything that it is and represents. And so that's why it's at the number 1 spot, is because it's kind of like my starting point with Balisongs. Then underneath that is my Benchmade 42 clone, and this is one of the first knives I bought in terms of like, trying to get something made of titanium. Even though it's a clone, I was like, oh, I really want a Benchmade 42 style thing, and it turned out to be a pretty good purchase. The Benchmade 42 clone is one of the only clones that I really don't care about. I've talked about clones in the past, and I've talked all about, how they're kind of a weird business, and I don't really support clones, but I also don't think that it's like a bad thing if you buy a clone. Just in general, if you can, support the original manufacturer and not cloning companies. However, with Benchmade specifically being literally the largest knife manufacturer that I can think of, and the Benchmade 42 being a knife that they made for a long time and then stopped making and then never decided to continue making it despite the immense popularity of these things, and they retailed for around like $120 originally, and now they resell for upwards of $900, which is stupid because they're not worth $900. They're perfectly great flippers, but they are not worth that amount of money. So I purchased myself a Benchmade 42 clone, which just so happens to have cool things like bushings inside of it. And I do appreciate that it says the 1 on it instead of Benchmade. So while it is a clone in of design, it is not trying to pretend to be a real Benchmade 42. And so if you were to try to sell this thing, it would be very, very obvious immediately that this is a clone and not an original. But yeah, I'm a little pissed off at Benchmade for, they could bring back the 42 literally whenever they wanted, and they would literally make lots of money off of it. Even if they were selling it for $500 a piece, they would be making a ton of money off of it, but they don't. So I have this. Anyways, so that was kind of my first foray into having a titanium Balisong in general. I think this is the first titanium Balisong I purchased outside of the titanium liners in the Benchmade 32. 51. Jesus, what is wrong with my brain today? Okay, bye, Penny. Okay, so next up is a knife that kind of got me into the hobby in a more full way. This I bought from Turbo Jackalope, or Casey Edwards on Instagram. He's a really cool dude who makes some pretty cool knives now. At the time, he was a modder. And one of the first knives I ever really bought from somebody on Instagram was this Scorpius. Well, not this specific Scorpius. I actually bought a Scorpius from him and then sold it later and then regretted selling it. And so I bought another Scorpius from him because he eventually got one and was like, hey, do you want this? Because I remember you telling me you regretted selling yours. And I was like, yes, I do want that. I do regret selling mine. Let me have it, please. It's a weird knife. It's insanely small. Like it's smaller than the Benchmade 51's handles by a reasonable margin, like a good 1/4 of an inch at least. So that's a pretty freaking small knife, and that's the Benchmade 51 without these handle extensions. Ignore the orange and just look at it like that. But it's a small knife. But I really like it. It's got a lot of charm to it, I think its initial price was a little bit high, but its resale value ended up being just right for me, and I really got a lot of use out of this thing back in the day. You can find some of my oldest videos on Instagram of me flipping are with this thing specifically. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun with the Max Ace Scorpius, and I'm really happy to have it in my collection, and so that's why it's at the number 3 spot, is because it's really kind of marks the turning point for me of getting into Balisongs. I also, at this time that I got this, also purchased a Hom Rhapsody, which I do not have anymore, and I wish I did because I really liked my Hom Rhapsody, but I had a Hom Rhapsody, and I eventually sold it, but you can find videos of me both flipping this and the Hom Rhapsody from back in the day. Anyways, moving on. Next up is going to be this beautiful piece of work. This is my JK Design Emissary number 8. The Emissary number 8 is the first custom knife I ever ordered, and I made a whole video about it, but essentially I ordered this trainer immediately after Julian, JK Design, posted the first version of the Emissary on Instagram. So I immediately was like, hey man, I need that. Hit me up, and he was like, sure, what do you want? And so we talked about it, and I had him design this thing, and like it was honestly one of the best purchases I've ever made. This knife has seriously stayed through me through thick and thin, and I just really, really love the way it flips. So this is a classic for me, and really marks a turning point in my Balisong hobby. And all of this is before I ever started the YouTube channel, including the Talisong. The Talisong was something, you know, well before I started the YouTube channel. So I think that's pretty important and kind of cool. So yeah, but anyways, I got this guy and was really happy with that. Next up actually was the Talisong. I got the Talisong before I ever started on YouTube as well, and it was definitely marks the most money I had ever spent on a Balisong. It was a pretty penny, but it's a pretty knife. So, you know, I think there's a trade-off there. But yeah, I really, really love this thing, as I've said before. But that brings us down to here, and these two are very special to me for different reasons. After all of this, I eventually started making Balisong videos, and you might recognize some of these from those Balisong videos because they've been around for a long time and are what I had before I even started doing YouTube videos. And so these two came after that, and that's why they're kind of special to me. This one is my orange Crackeracon, and I actually purchased this after doing the Crackeracon review. So what happened with the Crackeracon review is we actually were sent that silver Crackeracon for review from Squid Industries. They reached out to us and were like, hey, would you like to review a Crackeracon? And we were like, heck yes, that would be amazing. And so, you know, we went and got to do it, and then afterwards we had to send it back because it was literally just a review unit, you know, and that was really cool of them to allow us to review a Crackeracon, but at the same time, you know, review units, you have to send them back. That's just how being a reviewer works sometimes. And so we did. We sent it back, and I missed the Crackeracon ever since. But that year, we did that Crackeracon review around winter time, so it was close to Christmas. They did a drop of Crackeracons, and they specifically did a drop of black and red Crackeracons. So I purchased Brandon a black and red Crackeracon, and I think I purchased myself a black dual tone Crackeracon, so it was a fully black dual-tone Crackeracon, and then I bought Brandon a black and red Crackeracon, both completely out of my own pocket. We were not making money on YouTube at this point. Like, yeah, Penny? She found a cardboard box next to me. We were not making money off of YouTube at this point, so this was just my pocket money that I used to buy Brandon his very own red Crackeracon, and that thing has been like his go-to knife ever since. And I think it was a really, really good time. But the black, inked Crackeracon, I just never fully connected to until Squid announced that they were going to be releasing the orange Crackeracons. And I was like, oh my god, I need that. So I sold my dual-tone Crackeracon and purchased this and have had it ever since. And it has been one of my favorite knives just overall. And I've talked about that before because I really like the Crackeracon in terms of what it is from a price to performance ratio. It really is just the perfect, balance of value between the price of something and how well it performs. So I think that's pretty freaking cool. And it really did mark that turning point of me going from somebody who was just a collector to really diving into the YouTube thing. Around the time that we made the Crackeracon video, me and Brandon were out eating lunch. I think it was during the 2020 collection video while we were filming all the stuff for it. And we had a sit down during lunch. No. Yeah, I think it was the 2020 It was the 2020 collection video. That's right. Sorry. We had a sit down during lunch, and I was like, I'm personally tired of, both of us worked in the film industry, and we still do, but the YouTube has helped, and it's because we were like, working in the film industry is difficult because it means you're a contractor. And being a contractor can be annoying because people sometimes don't want to pay you, or so they'll try to get out of paying you, and you'll have a big email fight between you and the person, or you won't get hired for like months at a time because nobody needs your contract work that month. And so it can be very challenging to make a living. And so you can make a good living. You can make a fair bit of money being a contractor, especially in the film industry, but it can be very challenging at times. And so at that time, it was extremely challenging. I hadn't made money in like more than a month. Nobody had hired me. And so it was getting really difficult. And I had a whole conversation with Brandon while we were at lunch. And I was like, look, man, I think I want to try to do the YouTube thing like more. I think I want to lean into this even more. And he agreed with me. And so we decided to put in more effort, and here we are today. So yeah, this knife kind of really marks that turning point for me of like, now I'm going to really put in that effort. And here you go. This is part of where that led me. So then finally, the final stop on our journey right here is my beautiful stitch steel alien. And this knife represents a very cool thing for me. What this knife represents is, in a way, success, and my thankfulness for that success. This knife represents my ability, because what happened is Stitch opened up for knife commissions. He opened up for slots for aliens, and I was able to get a slot and pay for an alien and not really think too much about it. Like, I was able to buy an alien and not be super scared that my finances would absolutely be ruined by buying this $750 knife. And that was really cool and something to be really thankful for, because it was not that way because of the film industry. My job in the film industry, I do make a fair bit of money off of, and that's how I'm able to afford some of the knives I already have. But it's the combination of me being able to do my job in the film industry as a sound mixer and also do YouTube videos like this and have an amazing audience that supports me and have an amazing collection of Patreon supporters who are, helping to fund us every single month, because we really require it, and it really, really helps. So yeah, that's just, this represents that specifically for me, because I bought this at like a turning point where it was like, I really do feel more comfortable now. I feel better. I feel supported, both by the Balisong community as a whole, as they've supported me for a really long time, and I've had friends within the Balisong community for a really long time, but also, the people on YouTube, you guys who watch these videos, support me and support Brandon, and both of us are eternally grateful for that. And so this kind of represents that moment of like being able to extend that support that I was feeling to some of my friends, like Stitch, for instance, in the Balisong community. Being able to support him financially by buying a product from him, especially this is, I believe, right after he decided to go full-time into making Balisongs specifically. So yeah, I don't know. In general, this thing just represents a lot to me. And all of these represent a lot to me. My entire collection does. And I'll make a video about that when I get the new Pelican case and stuff like that. But for now, I just kind of wanted to extend that feeling of thankfulness that I have today. It was Thanksgiving yesterday, and I'm feeling thankful. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for watching every video that we make, because it's really cool. We never expected this. This is not something I ever expected to happen to me, to be a point in my life that I could say, oh yes, I have people who watch me on YouTube. That's crazy. That's really, really cool. And being able to experience that and share how thankful I am for that with you guys, it makes me very happy. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. I'm currently working on the other Squid Industries videos. I'm currently working on also 2 other reviews. Like, we're doing our best to make as many videos as possible, but it's been so busy lately, and it really is just me and Brandon. It is literally just 2 of us trying to do all of this, and we both got our own lives going on at the same time, so it gets difficult, but we do our best, and yeah, that's really kind of the thick and thin of it. So, oh god, I hit the camera again. Hello. God, I need to not do that. I need to not hit the camera. That would be, it's probably not a good idea to flip this close to this camera, but whatever, you know, it's fine. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and that's pretty much it for this one. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you have a good rest of your holidays. I'm going to try to upload here as much as I can, but, you know, really I have to do it when I'm free and available. So I will hopefully see you guys next time, and until then, I'll see you later. Peace out.